I think Siddharth just got dropped out. We'll just give you a minute or two. Yeah, it is on.
Dear Toastmasters and guests, hello, hi, and namaste. Welcome to the 69th meeting of our club. And for all those who are here for the ISE, please save your excitement. We're going to have a meeting now. Save the excitement for the meeting now. I would like to share a special point for today's meeting for what I am excited for. Abhinav is my mentor for this term. Somehow, surprisingly or coincidentally, I never got to witness his speech, and this is my first audience to listen to him speaking. So I'm excited for his speech and the table topic session. So before we go ahead, as your SAA, I would like you guys to bear with me while I read out the ground rules. Ground rules. To keep this podium strictly for communication and leadership purpose, I request the speakers to refrain talking about sex, religion, and politics. Please keep your mobile phones on silent mode or even switch it off to avoid distracting the speaker. Since we are meeting virtually, let's follow a few more virtual meeting rules. Online rules. I request speakers and other participants on the call to switch on your video, look directly into the camera, and mute your microphone if you're not talking. Refrain from making unnecessary movements like eating, moving around the room, walking away, or talking to others off screen. In unavoidable situation, you can switch off your video and come back immediately. Do upload after every speaker, even if your microphone is switched off. Clap your hands so the speaker doesn't feel left out. Please avoid asking, am I audible? In case the speaker is not audible, I request other participants to show thumbs down or thumbs up gestures. Please use the raise hand option on Zoom if you choose to participate in the table topic session. Without further ado, let's have a great session. I'm handing over the meeting to Toastmaster of the day, TM Kevin. And he's a super friendly guy. He has a stat to pick up any TMOD topic, even if you give it a second before the day. So I'm excited to know what the topic of the day is and the theme for today is. The meeting is yours, Kevin.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction to that. Absolutely. Today is definitely going to be an interesting session because we have our very own Abhinav, who is one of the best speakers in the area. And we are happy and proud to have Abhinav as part of our club. And it is a great opportunity for everyone who's joined in to listen to Abhinav speaking today. And Siddharth, definitely you being, since Abhinav is your mentor, that is a great thing to happen, and you can definitely hear out Abhinav's speech today. And that being said, today's theme that I have chosen is the Big Fat Indian Celebration. And the reason for this is because I had a function yesterday. So it's always, so I'm sure everyone has, everyone in our family, we do have functions, and we being Indians, we have this tendency of calling maximum number of attendees. That's how we can actually make sure that the whole world knows that we have conducted a function. I mean, we Indians have that, unlike the Western culture, they might call like few members for a wedding, few very close people. Unlike you are a big shot, it is a very common thing that only 40 to 50 attendees will be there for a Western wedding, unlike Indian weddings, where we have thousands pre-COVID, and post-COVID, it's now come up to 250. And there were some places that I would not want to name in this meeting where there are still people who have conducted with 2,000 people in the wedding. So those weddings have also happened. Now that being said, few pointers that I wanted to highlight is I would like to get an idea from all of you. Like, I'm sure most of you might be, I'm sure most of you are very familiar with the couple or the person for whom the function is being conducted. However, there might be some interesting food that you would like to taste in that particular wedding. So, is there some food in your mind that you will definitely not miss when you attend a function in India? Anyone can? Okay, I think Siddharth, yes. You can go.
Yeah, the sweets. I'd try out all the sweets, ice creams.
Okay, perfect. So you are those ones who will take one round and then you'll say, yes, this is my second round.
Yeah, that's because I'm a little clumsy while eating, so I don't prefer to eat all the curries and chapatis and all because I don't want to look bad at the meeting, so at the function. So I just prefer sweets and ice cream and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Something I'll get a quick bite.
Awesome. I'm sure many of us will be sharing that same thought that Siddharth has. Now, is there anyone else who would like to highlight that one food you will never miss in an Indian function? Yes, Kartika.
Actually, I also wanted to say the same, which Siddharth already said. I never miss the sweets part. Like I always make sure anything I'll be missing, but not the sweets part. But apart from that, I really love the what do you call the chart stuff that we have. So that is something I go look out for that. Once I enter the wedding, I will be looking out for all the charts and snacks with which I would make sure that I do not miss that part. And then maybe at the end, I will be looking for the sweets. So main course I might miss, but these two things I will never be missing.
Never miss. Okay. Awesome, Radhika. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. I'm sure, yeah, some of us will also share the same thought. But there are other people who are like, who make sure that they have everything. I don't know how they find room in the stomach, but they have the whole, from the beginning till the end, they'll complete it. And is there anyone else who would like to like share a food that suddenly came to your mind? Okay. Okay, with that, I don't want to extend any further, but I just wanted to highlight a few more points that came into my mind. And All India Bakchod also has a video dedicated to this. So you guys can actually watch that video. I think it is titled Big Fat Indian Weddings. I'm not wrong. I watched it a few years back. Yeah, a few other points that I want to share is the food and stage review committee. So basically, there are a few aunties there. I'm so sorry to use that word. Okay, I'm so sorry. Just give me a moment, please.
Okay, well, Kevin is away. Do we have any guest speakers today? Yes. Okay, he's back.
Yeah. So basically, we have, as I was just saying, we have a few people in the crowd who might give good food review. Like this food, the last function that I attended had better food than this. This is okay. This is manageable. And even about the stage, like this decoration is okay, not as good as the last function that I did a few hours back. Anyways, I'm going to, and there are also people who might not stay for the photography session because they might be having 2-3 weddings the same day. So these are the kind of few common instances in Indian weddings that we have, Indian functions for that matter. It could be anything. Then there are our parents and our relatives who will be looking or finding their future daughter-in-law and son-in-law in that same function. So they'll find the exact suitable pair. And the last point that I wanted to highlight is the unknown people in functions. So basically, this happened when I was in college. So that college had a big auditorium where they used to conduct weddings. So there were some unknown guests in every function that is conducted in that auditorium. So it is none other than the students from the same college who will be joining, and the person who actually conducted the ceremony would be like will come and ask, who exactly are you, like how am I related to you, and questions like that. That's when they find out they just came to have the biryani. So these are some of the some interesting facts, or I'm sure most of you might have noticed all these things. So these are some of the points that I wanted to highlight about the big fat Indian celebrations, and how we are like different from the Western culture, and how we want to include maximum number of people, uh, which is in a way good. So there are positives and negatives for both the cultures. Now, without any further ado, I would like to take the session ahead, and I would like to, first of all, we will go ahead with the speech session for today. So I would like to call upon Shama, who will be the evaluator for our speaker, Abhinav. Shama, if you would like to just give a highlight on what are the evaluation points that you'll be looking at. And over to you, Shama.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin. Am I audible?
Yes, Shama, you're audible, but your voice is a little low.
Okay. I hope this is fine.
Yes, better. Yes.
Thank you.
Over.
Today I'll be evaluating our distinguished Toastmaster Abhinav. It's my privilege, I would say. I've always learned from his speeches. That subtlety there. I've always learned from his speeches, all the sessions I've attended. I just thought this would be an opportunity to learn evaluating his speech. I'm looking for the general points, the content, the delivery, all those things. There's no specific project. Am I right, Abhinav? Yes. Thank you. All the best. Over to you, TM.
Thank you so much, Shama.
I think you forgot the GE, right? We're not doing the GE.
I'm so sorry about that. Yes, we have the GE for today. I'm so sorry. It is a little unplanned today. Kritika, if you could just also highlight on the evaluation points that you would like to take about for today. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin. I'll be your general evaluator of the day, and basically I will be evaluating the overall meeting, the timeliness, the preparedness of all the rule takers. And for that, I have our counter and grammarian rule as well, right? We have them? Because I don't see them.
No, unfortunately, we do not have the counter and grammarian today. We
Okay.
have a timer.
Okay, fine. Okay, so let me introduce the timer for today, and so I will invite timer Toastmaster Arindam to introduce his role.
Hey, good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to this wonderful informal session of the Toastmaster. As a timer, my role is to time the speech delivered by Toastmaster Abhinav, and at specific time intervals, I will use the cards to alert the speaker, DTM Toastmaster Abhinav, on the completion of the speech, and when the speech is going to when the speech is going to end that time. So at 5 minutes, I will use the green card. I think I will just blur my virtual background with the green card. At 7 minutes, I will use the at 6 minutes I will use the yellow, and at 7 minutes I will use the red. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arindam, for introducing your role. And with this, I hand over the stage to our Toastmaster of the day, Kevin. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Radhika, for explaining the points that you'll be evaluating in today's session, and also your tag team with the timer. And yeah, without any further ado, I would like to now go ahead and we are all excited to listen to the speech that Abhinav is going to give us. And over to you, DTM Abhinav.
There are no right or wrong decisions. There's simply the choice you make and the one you don't. My dear friends, today I'm going to take you through two stories. Stories that bring together a 16-year-old stud with a 5-year-old cutie pie. So let's begin with the first story. The first story happens when I was about 16 years old and I had a burning desire to drive my father's scooter. Yes, scooter. Now, before you ask me, yes, that's how old I am. And also before you ask me, I know it's not cool. It wasn't cool even back then. In fact, I used to spend half my time begging my father to let me ride the scooter and the other half of my time begging him, get rid of that scooter, buy a new bike. And yet every day when my father came home in the evening and parked that bright green Bajaj Chetak, I wanted nothing more than to ride that scooter. Now, my father, as it happened, was a very, very conscientious man, and the rules didn't allow me to ride that till I was 18, and he wasn't about to start breaking rules for me. And I wasn't about to start following rules for him. So we had a standoff. Every day when my father would come home, I would start nagging him. I would level my most cogent argument at him. When that didn't work, I would beg him. When that didn't work, I would cry. And even when that didn't work, I would threaten to tell my mom things that my father doesn't want my mom to know. All of which did nothing. Because you see, every time my nagging started having some effect on my father, someone that we knew would get into an accident and he would say, look, it's so dangerous. How can I take a chance with the health and well-being of my only child? And just like that, everything that I'd done would be back to square one and I'd have to start nagging him all over again. But I was persistent. I eventually prevailed and I rode that scooter on my 18th birthday. You see, my 18th birthday was the most confusing coming of age ever. Because an average guy on his 18th birthday says, ladies, the wait is over. I am now legally available. But on my 18th birthday, I had to say, ladies, the wait is almost over. Give me 10 minutes, okay? 10 minutes, let me write this. Please turn around for 10 minutes. I waited for 2 years to write this. Please look away. Yeah, needless to say, 2 weeks after getting that scooter, I got myself into an horrible accident. So maybe my father was right. But all was not lost because as bad as the accident was, the scooter had to be thrown away and my father had to get a new bike. So, all's well that ends well. Let's call that story a draw. Now, the second story happens last year when one day I'm sitting right here in this study working away when I hear my daughter from the hall. Friends, wait! Friends, wait for me, wait! You see, my daughter had seen some kids in the play area outside my balcony, and she wanted to go play with them. She had a burning desire to go play with these kids that she had actually never met before. So she was very excited. She was excited. She was nervous. She ran around. She ran to her grandfather. He said, Tata, I have to go. I have to go. They're playing. They're playing. I have to go. Please let me go. Please let me go. Now, her grandfather is a little deaf. So he couldn't make out what she was saying, and my daughter couldn't wait for him to understand what was happening. So she ran from there to her grandmother. She went, I have to go, I have to go, I have to go. The kids are playing, I have to go, I have to go. Her grandmother was non-committal. She said, go ask your parents, don't ask me. So she ran to her mother. She ran, mom, please let me go, please let me go. Now her mom was on a call. So she couldn't actually open the door and come answer her, and my daughter couldn't wait. So my daughter started scurrying as fast as her legs would take her towards my study. I could hear her legs coming, and I heard the sound I was dreading the most. My daughter knocking on my door. Now, you see, I was frozen because, of course, as a father, I want my daughter to go out, have friends, play, have a fun, find her own experiences. But this was early June of last year, the aftermath of the second wave. While my daughter was banging down the door here, my grandmother in another city was literally knocking on heaven's door at the same point in time. The second wave was so horrific. We were all scared and scarred by the bad news floating around every day, wasn't it? I can even teach my daughter to wear a mask and to sanitize and to socially distance herself and all of that. But how can I teach those kids on the ground? These kids wear masks like a beard. Have you seen this? Yeah. How can I go control them? How can I teach them about safety? So I was scared. When I opened the door and I let my daughter in, she leapt at me. She leveled her most cogent argument at me. She reasoned, she pleaded and begged, she cried. She even threatened to tell my wife things that I don't want my wife to know. But I didn't know. How can I take a chance with the health and well being of my only child? It's difficult to make that decision. It seemed like I'd become my father and had inherited all of his problems. After teaching her about all of the safety and all of these other things, I eventually let her go out and play. Not because I entirely thought that was the right thing to do, but because I realized that we could keep discussing this for hours and not conclude on what's the best thing to do. You see, remember my first story? As much as I wanted to go ride that scooter earlier and earlier, in hindsight, I wasn't right in wanting to ride that. And in hindsight, my daughter was not wrong in wanting to go and play. We were both simply children of rapidly changing circumstances, trying to find our own feet, tread our own path. Who's to say what's right and what's wrong? So, ladies and gentlemen, next time you are cornered into a painful dilemma where you don't know what side to choose, what side to pick, sometimes just relax and remember there are no right or wrong decisions. There's simply the choice you make and the choice you don't. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DT Abhinav. And I would request everyone to please give a round of applause for that wonderful speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is definitely enlightening, Abhinav, and especially the way you delivered it is something that everyone can actually. There are a lot of things that we can learn from that. The way you expressed yourself and the way you used your camera, that is awesome. Right, and now over to the next and the another interesting part of today's session, which is the table topic session. And we do have Vanshika here. And I suppose Vanshika is ready with the table topic speeches. Topics. And over to you, Vanshika.
Thank you, Toastmasters Kevin. A very, very pre-evening to everybody here today. Sincere apologies for how today's contest turned out. But in hindsight, Abhinav, that was a great speech. I really enjoyed listening to every bit of it. And I wish you very, very all the best for your further speeches in the contest. Right. So today I'm the table topic masters, and I will be conducting a game called Turn Code. Like Abhinav introduced this to us the last session. I felt Turn Code was a really great way to kind of induce a good flow in terms of talking, and it really builds us and makes us better speakers. So I would like to choose any, or please come up with anybody who would want to volunteer, and we can start off with your first table topic session then. Any volunteers? All right. Today, since we're a little short on people, we have only 9 participants, and I can see everybody on my screen today. What about Arindam? Arindam, would you like to give it a try?
Yes, Anshika. Thank you
Great.
for giving me
All
that.
right. So I'll just share my screen, and you can pick a number between 1 to 10.
4.
Number 4. All right. So your topic for today is physical learning versus classroom learning. So I just want to, before you start off, I want to make sure everybody's clear with the rules of how tone code works. Okay, I'll just reiterate anyhow. So the game basically revolves around taking one side of each each topic, physical learning versus classroom learning. The minute I start giving an indication through my screen, when I change the color of my screen, I want you to switch and start supporting the other topic. Start talking about the other topic, and then you come back again when I switch. Then I want you to leave that topic and start talking about the other topic. That is, when I said start talking about the other topic, I mean to say start talk in favor of the topic. And from there on, we'll see how it goes. All right, Anandam, so your first topic is physical learning versus classroom learning.
Okay, so wait a minute. So is the classroom
Over
learning
to you,
same as-
Toastmaster Anandam.
Yeah. So for my understanding, is the classroom learning is same as the online learning, which you meant to say here, or is it? Can you hear me, Vanshika?
Yeah, yes, I do. So classroom learning in terms of COVID would mean the online learning. Yeah.
Got it. And any indicator you will show when you are switching the turns?
I will be changing the color of my screen. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. So, thank you, Toastmaster Vanshika, for giving me opportunity to speak here. Good evening, guests and dear Toastmasters. So I prefer physical learning because as a father of a kid who's always running around in the house and who's not sitting on the chair to speak about anything there. So yeah, I think in that case, I think which I also prefer I also sometimes go for the online learning because my child is able to at least spend some quality time with us, and also able to take good food and the rest at the same time, which is always a result into the good health of my kid, who has gained at least 10 kg in last 1 year. So I'm also happy about that. She is much more at least gaining weight, and also she is enjoying the comfort of the home itself. So I definitely go for a online learning there, right? From the what advantages which I can see here.
I'm so sorry. There's a technical glitch on my end. Please switch your speech.
Okay, sure. So yeah, I think at the same time, the physical learning brings a lot of excitement in my kid, as she is always eager to go out, spend time with the friends, at least chat with them, understand what they are learning, how they're going it, and they can at least pay more attention to the teachers, because they are in the classroom, they are not have to go away, and it basically brings me to the same thing, like, yeah, why can't I bring the teachers, I think that the tuition teachers back to my house, but I don't prefer that, because that's not possible to bring the teachers in there, and that's why I go for that. So now if I want to go for another kind of learning, which is something hybrid learning, I think I will go for a hybrid learning, where some days it's a physical learning where they can they have to go and at least spend some time with the teachers, with the kids, with the other kids, and also at least go through the learning and spend more time, which is essentially is the next big which is, I think, that it will be basically in a way out, which will be happening in the future. But I don't know what will happen in the future, and in the COVID times, it might change that. Again, we are going for the online learning, which is the preferred way when you are hit with the pandemic times.
All right. So thank you so much, Arindam. That was some great insights. Okay, so I think we can move on to our next contestant. I see Anand is volunteering. Is Anand volunteering?
No, not yet. Please
Okay,
go on with others.
Would you like to give it a try today?
I'll go ahead a little later, please. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, I would like to volunteer.
Awesome. Okay. Kevin, choose your topic. I'll just share my screen again. Yeah. What number would you like to go for?
9.
Number 9. Great. So your topic for the day is, would you rather travel 100 years forward or back in time? Over to you, Toastmasters, Kevin.
I would rather like to travel. To be frank, I like to travel both the sides. But then I will travel 100 years forward so that I can. Sorry. Just give me a moment. Okay. The reason why I want to travel 100 years forward is just to see the kind of technology that our kids or the future generation can see. Because I personally am not sure if I can live 100 years. So the first and foremost thing that I want to do is I want to travel and see what happens in the future. Something that is unseen is what I would like to see first. And yes, of course, why not? I mean, I have seen this in the Star Trek series where they used to travel from this year to whichever year. Basically, they sit in a time machine and go backward and forward. They were just playing with the buttons there. It's so easy for them. So yeah, going backward, I would say I would rather not prefer, because who would like to live in like the old world where there's no technology, unless you want to breathe a little more fresher air. And I definitely do not want to go back to the time when there was the Industrial Revolution, when there's a lot of smoke in the air. So yeah, the old times was really bad in that way, in terms of pollution. But then, yeah, I would like to see the future. Over to you, Vanshika.
Got it. Thank you, Kevin. Can we give a round of applause for the great effort that Kevin worked out on this? It's good to hear. All right. So, awesome. Okay, Abhinav, which number would you like to go for?
What's left is 8 feet.
I'm sorry, I'm just sharing my screen. 1 minute. Yeah. What number would you like to go for?
I'll go with 8.
8. So number 8 is, family relations better in Indian culture or Western? Family relations better in Indian culture or Western? Over to you, Toastmaster Abhinav.
I think the word better by itself is quite strong to pick, but if I had to pick one of these two, I'd say that the family setup in Indian culture is far, far better than what the West can hope or even dream of having. We have families that support each other, that come together, that stay together. The theme for today is the big fat Indian celebrations, right? And that by itself is testament to the fact that we have so many celebrations that we are virtually together. We know each other so well. But isn't that the problem? Knowing each other well doesn't end with just knowing each other well. It always gets nosy, right? Our relatives always tend to want to have too much of an interest in what we're doing, how we're doing it. It's really a little suffocating when it comes so close. Why can't they just live their own lives? Let us live our own lives, like the people in the West. For the people in the West, as much as they have their freedom, as much as they have their own lives and all of that stuff, they don't necessarily have the sense of comfort that family brings to us. Don't you think sitting across a table with 10 other people gives you a sense of comfort and togetherness that's really not found very often in the West? What, you have it a couple of times a year on holidays, and here we do that almost every other day. But don't you think a couple of times a year is quite enough? Aren't we overrating this? Really think about your dinners. How often are you actually spending time with your family? I think we're spending more time with TV, watching something on Netflix, watching something on Prime or whatever. And we don't really interact with people so much. We don't really mingle with families. So the West has it right. Independence is the way to go. It's always better for a person. It allows him to grow as himself or herself and become a stronger person overall. So I definitely think what people have in the West is something we should all be aspiring for, is something we should all be moving towards. And that's the best way to go about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinav. I think that was an amazing attempt. Can we all give a round of applause for Abhinav, please? Amazing. So I don't know what I would choose. I honestly, it was a great effort. Thank you. All right. Anybody else who would like to? I think Siddharth, why don't you give it a try? Last time you couldn't finish, so I think today you should definitely go for
Yeah,
it.
I knew you would pick me up, so I started volunteer.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to share my
I
screen.
go with 3.
Number 3. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So your topic for the day today, Mr. Siddharth, is ebooks versus paper books. Ebooks versus paper books. Over to you, Toastmaster Siddharth.
If I had to choose between ebooks or paper books, I would go with ebooks. And most people I know would unanimously choose ebooks. One reason being it's more easily accessible. That is, you don't have to pay to take an access. I have friends who WhatsApp me saying, hey, have you read this book? The last book I read through an ebook was Alan Carr, How to Quit Smoking. So all these books are shared on electronic devices on the internet. So I would definitely prefer ebook. But at the same time, who reads a book on the internet? We need to feel it, we need to hold it and smell how the book is. That's something that incentivizes me to finish the book. So I can flip the pages, do the markings there, see what I like, underline the words I like, go back to it after a year or 2. I can't be doing that on the ebook. That's one of the biggest advantages I would prefer. But at the same time, who has the money to buy an hard copy book? We don't, at least I don't have the money to buy the book, hard version of the book, to the physical version of the book. So I would any day go for the free version, talk to a few friends, talk to Vanshika, ask her what books she has, share some books, and then read whatever I can on the ebooks. That's what it. Thank you, guys.
All right. That was, I think, a really, really great attempt. Quite smooth flowing, I would say. So I would never give you my fresh books, first of all. And me personally, I would really love to see and feel the book. I love the smell of an old book or a new book. And I like to own those books. I like looking at my library today and I like to see what kind of books we have available. That's
in fact, there's a book by Simon Sinek. Is I think the second last book. He scented the pages of the book. He made the publishers scent it, so the readers can actually smell it and get a different scent than the other books.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The smell is in the old books, not in the new ones. I don't like the new books.
You're so right.
It has to be.
I love going to one of those secondhand places and
awesome.
just, I want to see what is written on those books. I look forward to those low-key messages.
I've moved to this because I don't have enough place to store more books.
Awesome. All right. So that was a great session. Anybody else who would like to volunteer? Shama, why would you like to give it a try?
Yes.
Amazing. I'll just share my screen again and you let me know which number you would like to go for.
7.
Number 7. So your topic for the day is revamping old tunes music a good idea? Is revamping old music tunes a good idea? Over to you, Toastmaster Shama.
Anything old is gold. We already know that. Every time we hear old music, it's just a nostalgia for us. We keep thinking of, oh, those good days, oh, my childhood days. I used to listen to this with my mother, with my grandmother. We just go there. So when we are doing new music, if we again use the old music, don't you think it's just as good as that old music? It always clicks. It's the best way to do the music, just using whatever we already have. But given that, do you think, aren't we exploiting the fame of that old music? Isn't it ethically wrong? Already someone has put some effort on it and made it famous. They have touched few hearts with it. That needs to be kept untouched. That's what I feel sometimes while hearing these remixed musics of all the old songs. That's what is happening all these days. But there are few places where oh sorry, I thought you switched.
No,
There are
no,
few.
yeah.
Okay. These old musics, while kept untouched, we always cherish them. The for me, the best music was this that Hindi song where Ye Raate, Ye Mausam, that song, it keeps ringing in my ears always when I hear to it. Recently, what happened? I just heard a remix of that song, and it was just a nostalgia there. I could hear the beats of both the old song and the new song mixing up, creating a new memory for me. It was just that beautiful. Revamping of old musics into new tunes should be done with minimalistic approach there and not spoiling the memories for people who love that music. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shama. That was a great insight. I also agree from your end that, using old tunes is sort of exploiting on the fame and the creativity of that music. You put in some more fast beats does not count for it. Originality, like you said, old is gold, and I'm the biggest believer of that. All right. So I think we can take another person today. I think, Kratika, would you like to give it a try?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. I'll just share my screen. Choose a number.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1. That's the way to go. Metro versus Volvo. Metro versus Volvo. Over to you, TM Kratika.
I mean, any day, one would prefer a metro over a Volvo bus. The reason being simple, that it would take far less time than compared to a bus to reach to a location which is of same distance. You might take, let's say, maybe 1 hour if you want to go by a bus, and you might be able to end up that same distance maybe in 15 to 20 minutes if you take a metro instead of a Volvo. So definitely my preference over a Volvo or a metro would anytime be a metro. But yet I think not metro is not something which is available everywhere, because we live in a country like India, and there are still places and metro stations are not so easily accessible, and there are places from where you might need another transportation to reach to a metro station. So definitely that would take some time of yours, or that would consume some time of yours, if you even just to reach the metro station and then to catch up that metro station, catch up that metro train. And definitely Volvo bus also has its own luxury. You definitely can enjoy your ride in a Volvo bus as well, and which you might not be able to do in a metro station, a metro train. And of course, while you're traveling in a metro train, the crowd, I mean, it's so crowded. And on the contrary, Volvo bus is not so crowded, and you get the luxury to, have your own seat, and you can basically enjoy that ride. And sometimes if you're lucky, nobody's sitting next to your seat. Like this is what I do when I'm traveling in a bus. I would keep all my belongings there, and I will have a very smooth ride. And on the contrary, if you are traveling in a metro, you might not get that luxury, and you might even not even get a seat actually. Sometimes I've struggled in a metro to even get a seat in metro. So that's my take on that. And over to you, Toastmaster Vanshika. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kratika. That was a great attempt at this. Ma'am, I would personally take the metro. I already know I'll have a long journey, so might as well take it in AC. And I happen to be in a stop where I get to sit, so that's done for me. So I get very lucky that way. All right, so I think with this we can conclude the session.
Vanshika, if you'd like, I can give you a topic.
Sure, Lisa.
Okay, this is a little quirky. So, chocolates or biscuits? You can choose one and go ahead. Arundam can time you. Chocolates or biscuits? I repeat, chocolates or biscuits?
Great. So for me, I would like to go with chocolates. My sweet spot, my cravings, my everything, my mood revolves around chocolates, be it dark chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate, not so much. And chocolates are in fact known endorphins. They tend to release those great endorphins. They tend to set you up in a good mood. That's the reason that we get these great chocolates, be it luxury or be it homemade. Anything to do with chocolate, I would just love. But again, coming back to biscuits, biscuits, the crunch that you want, you're not going to get from a cracker. You want that biscuit, you want that cream. Oreo can be Oreo. Oreo cannot be a chocolate Oreo. That will not work. Oreo can be biscuit. How many of you are with me when you see a biscuit wrapped in chocolate? Not a fan of that. So biscuits, yeah, biscuits are in their place. Chocolates are in their place. I personally prefer to eat chocolates, and my birthday just went, so I'm taking all gifts accepted. All right. So I think I would like to conclude with this. All right, that's over to you, Kevin. Thank you.
I totally forgot what was the change and later remembered.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say that. I mean, I'm going to type that you said that. Were you changing the card or showing some actions to change?
I think I didn't see Arindam change the screen, so I just sort of switched back to my.
Was a timer. I should have changed
it. Chocolate is no good, man. Biscuit wrapped in chocolate is so awesome.
Really? Is it?
Yeah,
not a fan.
What is wrong with you?
No.
But what is Abhinav like?
No. I would also agree with that.
I eat anything unhealthy, man. What are you saying?
Yeah, that's there. I would eat anything unhealthy, but chocolate would be the first. I would start with that. Yes. Yeah. All right. So over to you, Kevin. Thank you for a great session, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And yeah.
Absolutely, Vanshika. We definitely did enjoy it. And the session was awesome. And so without any further ado, since we are planning to wind up the meeting soon, I would not take much time, and I would like to now hand over the stage to General Evaluator Kritika. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin. And I would like to invite the evaluator, Toastmaster Shama, to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Abhinav's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Shama.
Thank you, General Evaluator. There is no right or no wrong. Abhinav, please remember that there is no right or no wrong. Even if I give wrong recommendations, please don't take it. Even if I give the right improvements, please do take it, consider it. Sons becoming fathers. I don't think there's a better example than this to say that there's no right or wrong decision in life. You were a son and you became a father and you took us throughout that journey. It was just a beautiful instance for me, all throughout your speech. You had two stories, one where you were a son, one where you were a father to your daughter. I could imagine you in that situation being a son, asking for the scooter to ride, begging, crying and running. You were running around the house, just threatening your mother to give the scooter. I could just imagine that Abhinav in my head. You brought that out through all the emotions put into your speech. humor during each and every instance of your speech was very evident, I would say. Even during the pain, bringing humor during pain, right? It is something classical that we see in few great scenes of some movies or series. That I observed today in your speech. That was beautifully done. When you said, especially when you said things that I didn't want my wife to know, there you were just you were cornered to a dilemma. That's what you said just before telling this line. You were in pain, but that's where you brought this humor. Beautifully done. Ladies, wait is over, but just 10 minutes. That there was a pain underlying there, that you're uh, prioritizing something else, but humor was brought there. Beautifully done again. The connectivity and the contrast between your two stories, when you were a son to your father, where you were cared, where you were loved, where you were even restrained with that love, and the second story, where you were a caring father, restraining your own daughter and asking her to restrain herself from doing some things that might hurt her. It was um, that connectivity was brought out very well, I would say. On a lighter note, I got to witness a mini Abhinav in your daughter, running, crying, begging everywhere from all your house people. Voice modulation and vocabulary, I need not even talk about it. Breaking and following the rules. Friends, wait, that voice modulation there. Your words, cognate, pleaded, hindsight, rapidly, feet, cornered into painful dilemma. Excellent. Through this amazing journey, right, there were few bumps that I found which could be cut out or patched up. There was a circling and looping back in the second story. What happened? You could have taken some time of yours and set a basic context of your home. Who is that grandfather? He's deaf. What is your wife doing? She's working somewhere. What are you doing? You're in a room. Then come back to your daughter, saying my only daughter in the hall, looking at the children playing outside. Tell about the children as well. That context setting could have taken some time so that you didn't have to go back and explain to us what you're trying to tell. That was a bit disconnectivity happening there. Before you ask me, I will tell you. Before you ask me, I'll tell you this. That came up twice. Once you tell, I'm intrigued. Twice you tell, okay. It just drops down. All in all, the destination was the best in your speech, especially when you touched and resonated with us through descriptions of all the relationships in your life. And the second wave, when you said how difficult times were, it was truly resonating. Message was very clear throughout your narration. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Abhinav, for that speech. There is no right or there is no wrong in whatever decisions we make. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shama, for such a beautiful evaluation and for such detailed evaluation of Toastmasters Abhinav's speech. And before I present my report, I would like to invite the timer of the day, Toastmaster Abhinav, to present his report. Handing over the stage to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kritika. It was a wonderful session organized by Kevin, and I think the icing was Toastmaster Abhinav's speech. Abhinav's speech went for only for 6 minutes 34 seconds. I wish it could have went longer, but yeah, I know that it would have crossed the 7 minutes window. In the table topics sessions, which was wonderfully conducted by Toastmaster Vanshika, all the speeches very well drafted and well said. With starting with Kevin, who took around 2 minutes 24 seconds, Abhinav, who took around 1 minute 37 seconds, Siddharth, 1 minute 27 seconds, Shama, 2 minutes 2 seconds, Kritika, 2 minutes 10 seconds, Vanshika, 2 minutes 20 seconds, and and Toastmaster Shama again for evaluation around 4 minutes, 5 seconds. Back to you, General Director.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arinda. And before I share my report, I just want to let everybody know that I really enjoyed this meeting, and meeting was really great. And I completely understand that meeting, it was a club contest which was supposed to happen. And instead of this, we have organized this meeting. And I really wanted to give all of you a round of applause that for being able to actually, organize the meeting at such a, in a very short span of time. And want to give a round of applause to all the role takers for coming in such a short notice and taking up all the rules with everything. So yeah, so starting with my evaluation report. So we were just 7 minutes late with the meeting. Like we were supposed to start at 4 p.m, but we were just 7 minutes late. So I think maybe we could have started at least by 4:04 or 4:05. So but I think that's okay. So starting with the Sergeant at Arms. So yes, I could see it was a great energy the way you started the meeting, and it was really enthusiastic, like the way the energy you brought up while laying out the ground. So yeah, kudos to that. Coming to the Toastmaster of the day. So you took a great theme, like I think everybody could relate with the theme, and then you also opened up the platform for everybody to invite them and to share their opinions. So that was good. And just one thing that you missed on to, you actually forgot to introduce the role of general evaluator itself. So make sure that before you invite the first speaker of the day, you invite the general evaluator, and the tag team has to be introduced before we actually invite the first speaker of the day. And apart from that, the table topics were really great, and like they were very interesting. Like this is something I have come across like for the first time. So having been participated in that, I really enjoyed it. Like I really liked that switching part. Like you were you were changing your screen, and then we were supposed to, all of a sudden we were supposed to change our stand as well. So I think that was really fun, and that was really exciting as well. So that brought some excitement in the meeting, I would say. But another thing, just wanted to add on that because there was a technical glitch, so make sure before you attend, like before the meetings get started, you check your, like whether your background you are able to change or not. So you check all those, you do those checks before the meeting gets started, so that you are prepared from your end. And the speaker is not like, it's like the speaker has to face this kind of a challenge that whether he has to speak on he has to take the stand or he has to speak against it. So that should not happen, during the table topic session. And yeah, apart from that, just a few roles were missing, like the counter and the grammarian and even the presiding officer. So yeah, all that maybe we can take care in the next meeting. But anyways, it was a great meeting, and yeah, even we all were able to make it. I think that was a great thing. So yeah, thank you everybody, and yeah, this is my report. So handing over the stage to you, Toastmaster of the day, Kevin.
Thank you so much, Kritika and team, for that wonderful evaluation. I would request everyone to please unmute and give a round of applause to Kritika and team. Definitely, I'm sure most of you will agree with me, and I hope everyone did have a good time in today's meeting. And we got this opportunity to listen to DTM Abhinav at the speed that Abhinav will be giving out in the next area level contest as well. And yeah, one thing I want to just say, Kritika, your evaluation was very good. And even I wanted to highlight the evaluation done by Shema, because that evaluation was actually something that Abhinav definitely needed, because it was up to the level of Abhinav's speech is what I would say. Thank you for that. And with this, I think we can call the meeting number 69 as closed for today. And
before that, I'm sorry to cut you. The form is on the meeting in the inbox, in the chat room. You could just finish the voting. The poll.
That is correct. Yeah, I would suggest if everyone can do the voting right away, And
Yes,
then
sir.
probably we can also take feedbacks at this time or anything.
Yeah, I could also announce the winners if
Yeah, we can.
Pratika and the other guests would be curious.
Correct. It will hardly take 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
request everyone to just give your votes. Okay, I'm done with mine.
Okay, I'm done with mine. Pratika is done. Abhinav is done. Vanshika? Arundam?
Yeah, where is the poll? Like I can't see it on the chat.
Okay, there's a link in the chat box. I'll do it again. Sorry, I think I'm 1 second. Yeah,
Okay.
here you go. Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, I think I have the results here.
Okay.
To be the best auxiliary role taker is S&B-TM Siddharth. And then I'm coming to the best role taker. That goes to TM Kevin for the TMOD. And then the best table topic speaker is unanimously DTM Abhinav. And obviously the speakers, Abhinav, best speakers, Abhinav, best evaluator, Shama.
Thank you so much, Siddharth, for creating the poll on time.
Yeah.
And, okay, is there any final feedback or anything anyone wants to share before we close the meeting in a minute?
Yeah,
I'd like to thank
Kritika
Kritika and Shama for attending our meeting. It makes it something different than the usual. That is better.
Absolutely.
For having me here. It was wonderful experience. Especially, I still can't believe I evaluated Distinguished Toastmaster Abhinav. Really,
enough, enough, man.
Truly a fan, especially
You
after
people
that
do all of
session.
this. You'll keep
After that
teasing
session,
me,
finding
okay?
your language right. I'm truly a big fan of you. Thank you for that opportunity. I learned a lot from each and every section of this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shama. Very, very nice to hear that. But yeah, please stop keying me so much. I feel my own club is keying me so much that I get one big head and then I'll go in one division contest and goes right. So I'm trying to get into my head. So yeah, thank you.
You know, I mean, we just wanted to tell you that there are a lot of fans in the Toastmaster Club. So we cannot control our emotions when we start talking about you.
I should have. I know. I should have been younger and single.
Too late.
Okay, I think with this we'll end up meeting.
Kritika was about to say something.
Yeah, yes, Kritika.
Actually, yeah, I just forgot to mention Abhinav's speech. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And so thank you for having me. I could attend the meeting and I could actually hear distinguished Toastmaster Abhinav's speech. And I really like the contrast you made between you, like you as a son and then you being a father. I mean, really that was really a touching touching speech and as well as a very humorous speech as well. So I really enjoyed your speech thoroughly. So thank you for having me, and I definitely have my learning and my takeaways from this meeting.
Yeah, before, thank you
Yeah,
so much, Ritika.
also I would like all of you to invite our club, State Street India Toastmasters. So we have a meeting on every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. So you all are most welcome to the meeting of our club as well.
Okay, so just to reiterate, Agradika, so you're from Stage Street and your meetings are on Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And just before I end the meeting, I just wanted to ask Abhinav one small question. That is, like, when do you find time to read like books, and what would, I mean, just asking you, how do you find time to read books?
So I recently started reading again. I used to read a lot like before. For many years in between, I didn't find time. I've recently started reading again. I keep aside 2 nights in a week, randomly, either Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, something. And I keep aside 1.5 hours on each night just to read. I have joined a book club. If any of you are interested, I can pass on. I can loop you in. So there's a, I don't know if any of you know Akshay from HSR Toastmasters. So he's running a sort of book club. Good fun. We do 1 book a month, and we review the book at the end of the month. And the book review for this month happened today morning. And it's a lot of fun. Right? Just to get into that book review, I make sure I get through at least 1 book. But because of that habit of reading, I'm now doing at least 2 to 3 books a month, which is, you've got to pull aside time, right? So it's
So
good.
you read this before you go to sleep, right?
Before I go to sleep. I don't know, for better or for worse, once that reading bug comes, no, you will keep pushing sleep.
True.
So
That's actually happened so many times. We've not realized the time, but we're almost close to the finish of the book.
But you
So-
never wake up sleepy after that, right? Like this particular book that we read, I read just 2 days ago. I did the book flat in just 1 sitting, right? So I started at around 8:30, and I finished the book by 1:30 and went to sleep. I had to wake up at 7 in the morning, and I wasn't sleepy. I was just
fresh.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good fun. In case you guys are interested, just let me know. I'm happy to point you in.
Absolutely. Sure, we connect on this. And with this, we end the meeting number 69. And all of you have a nice day. And thank you so much for joining. Take care.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye all. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.